I wanted to do a short video on non-verbal learning disabilities. The title is misleading because there's no disability there. Being nonverbal is a gift. I know because all this life I've been searching for why I'm different. And fortunately I've been able to articulate and figure out how I'm different than other people. I grew up without any special treatment. In fact, it was the opposite, and in a very abusive, alcoholic home where there were a lot of type A personalities and a lot of narcissist personalities. It was hard to survive then. But I didn't speak. I wasn't diagnosed as having a disability. I wish I had some help back then. But I was very intelligent. I was above the class levels in certain areas. But where I failed was at interacting with others. I didn't get the same cues that other people were. I always wanted to have friends, and I was desperate to have friends, and I didn't know why I wasn't able to make friends. There was something off, and I've struggled my whole life to understand it. But here, to help the present generation who are struggling with being nonverbal, even though they can speak, let me explain for everyone else what it entails. For us, for myself, it was like conversations and social situations were like a game of jump rope. Like you have a jump rope going and you have to wait until you find your beat to jump in and hop over the rope. So every social interaction was like that for me, waiting for the timing. And you know what? Most of the times it never came. Because what people don't understand about people who are nonverbal, they're so vested in everyone else. They have such a big heart. They love to such a great capacity that they don't want to step on anyone else's moment. They would rather sit in the background instead of take the risk of hurting anyone else's feelings, dampening anyone else's moment, even in the most slightest degrees. So lots of times they'll go without being heard, without being validated, without expressing all that's in there. There's a genius in there. In some area, there's a genius in there. I found mine in healing, and I've found validation in helping people through being able to release the stagnant energy. Things that other people in mainstream don't even see, I perceive, and I'm able with my intentions to move them out. It's incredible. Yet as a child, I was laughed at, I was shut down, I was considered to be a pest. And so Gus is lucky enough to have a loving family that understands that he has genius in there. They understand his big heart. And thank God he has them to protect him. But it's that big heart that protects him because we don't have the capacity to hurt someone else. And the reason we stay nonverbal is to not offend anyone. I remember when I was 11, I was taken to go to the local Santa at the mall. Now, I knew this wasn't Santa. I just knew it. But I went along with it, even though my brother and mother did it as a joke to me because they wanted to humiliate me. So they took me up to the Santa, and we went through the emotions. I took the coloring book from the Santa, and I was respectful to him, and I didn't say much. Because if there was any aspect of him that thought he really was the real Santa Claus, I did not want to take that experience from him. So I just went along with the muse. And so those of us who are nonverbal as children, what they're actually doing is going along with the muse. In energy, I was able to see people's egos. I could see when they were hurt and when they were overcompensating and when they needed desperately to be heard. And because I could see all that, what other people were not understanding, I was able to step back and allow them to have that moment. And it went on like that, went on like that, went on like that, most of my life. So when you meet someone as special as Gus, don't show your hand. Don't show how ignorant you are. If you want to show some sense of awareness, allow that person to have space to speak their truth. Because if you're able to get to that space where they're speaking truth, if you allow yourself to sit back and pay attention to what they're saying, what they have to say, there's magic for the world. And right now, mainstream is missing it for the most part. And the only people who are getting able to appreciate it are the ones close to them, who are able to get their egos out of the way and stop the judging and just make space to listen to someone who may have more to say, but is allowing everyone else to say what they need to say. Another trait of being nonverbal is not having a sense of self. People may make fun of my hair, makeup, clothes, whatever. I don't fit in because I don't have that self-consciousness to compare myself to others. All of my attention is basically focused on the other person and helping them bring out what's best in them. And I believe that's a trait of all nonverbals. Now, how is that a disability? What mainstream calls a learning disability is actually a grace that they're not aware enough yet to understand. They're living in the presence of grace. And I bet Tim Walz and his family realize what a loving spirit Gus is. And anyone who doesn't realize the grace that is there, they're the ones missing out. They're the ones with a disability. And I hope to God everyone gets it right now. Thank you, Gus, for being here. And thank you for being a surrogate for all those who are treated like a joke when they're actually a gift.